Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast, and today we're going to be talking about the new murder mystery book, I should say, in Choices, which is Murder at Homecoming. And this is quite an unexpected book. I did not hope Choices would do something given the current line of books, but they did it. It's a high school young adult book. So we start the book, and actually, here we get to choose our middle name, but we have our own name, Valentine, and you also have our surname. So I don't know if the name has something more in the plot or not. To be honest, I saw some similarity with the main character of Crimes of Passion and this main character of Murdered Homecoming. Both of them are a bit cold, like not like other main characters in Choices who are like a little goofy and they're like, oh, but they're like they can hold their own and it's hard to get to them. So like they joke not at all. They do not joke at all. So that and a history with their family and a history with the police officers, they hate us. So we are the junior investigator, the guy investigator, the boy investigator, as they would call us, and we are in this very amazing school for riches where only popular people go and stuff happens, and now it is famous for a grisly murder. So what happens, we see the book starts with us being interrogated by two police officers, one of them who worked on a case which is pretty close to us of our sister's disappearance, Dita, a long time ago. And from the conversations our main character and that officer they have, we can understand that they didn't put much effort in finding our sister, and they could have done more but didn't do it, and we were unsatisfied with it. And then we after that took some certain cases and things in our own hands, and the officers didn't like it. But there was also another guy who was very considerate and basically who could sympathize with us with not just our past but of the thing that happened, because we are being interrogated because we have seen the body, we had discovered the body in this murder, or the said murder in Murder at Homecoming of Gabby. So we tell them, so we sort of go down the memory lane of what happened one day before leading up to this. Remember the Veil of Secrets interrogation, kind of like that. So we see that we were investigated, and there's this popular girl, Gaby, who comes and picks us up, and he wants to see if there is any ballot fraud. And his boyfriend, Tyler, he's hated by some other jocks, so she just wanted to save Tyler from any unfair treatment. So we basically do our best, and you'll have to have this option to wear a different outfit to make your impression, and this will be a default outfit throughout the book, so you can do that. And then we go to the party with the limo, and then you'll get to see first Tyler, so you'll get to choose Tyler's gender, and definitely Tyler is the boyfriend of Gabby, but they're both popular, so Tyler wasn't popular as much as before dating Gabby as much as he is now. So, and we also see some of his friends, Gabby's friends, and who they dated before. So all these things we see, and this glamorous limo and the homecoming party we reach, and there we see that we part ways with Gabby, and we're just having fun there. We meet Donovan, if I'm not wrong, Donovan Navarro, the second love interest, who is Gabby's twin brother, and then again we come back to the present time, and they ask us to cut to the chase. So we tell them when we see Gabby before the fateful time, before discovering her body. Once again, we see her for the last time, and she was looking really down. She was sort of as if she was crying, and we also discovered in this diamond scene we can talk to her, and we will get to know about why she was down. Not much why she was down, but we will say stuff that will help cheer her up. And we will also discover a blade and a threatening note. So, except from that threat note and that blade, we won't get much. We will try to cheer Gaby up, and we'll manage to do that. But in the present time, we wish that we could have done something more for her. But then again, Gabby, she will go, and our chemistry professor, who's also a chemistry teacher, Mr. Lewis, who is also very well known to his students, or he even gets hit by his own students, and I don't know how he feels about that. But and that's Tyler from Laws of Attraction, if you remember, so that's interesting. Use of Sprite, reuse of Sprite, I should say. Then we go to count the ballots so that no fraud happens. And Gaby leaves from there. So we didn't know what was up much, but we do get to know some about Gaby, that she was in some sort of problem. Someone was threatening her, and she was definitely distressed by whatever was going on. And then we managed the ballot fraud thingy, with the inks and what kind of inks were there. The black ink, so the blue ink votes were definitely fraudulent, and we throw them out. And that was a legit election now, counting of votes at least. So we basically threw away the wrong votes, and then we see that we were at the place where the homecoming king and queen were being announced, and Tyler was announced the king. So our job was well done. But then they never announced. They did announce Gabby's name, but what I meant to say, sorry, that Gaby never showed up, and the dread rises inside everyone. Like, where is Gaby? Where is Gaby? So we search everywhere, and to be honest, I didn't hope this would happen so early, and but that happened. We, the main character, go to the pool, the smell of chlorine, and there we found the body. We jump down, we retrieve her body back to the surface, but that was lifeless. And that's how we found Gaby's body. And then we get back to the present time, and the officer, one of the officers, he just made up his mind from way before that he was not going to trust us, he was just going to belittle us. But the other one was really sympathetic. So when the one we had a history with was trying to pin the blame down on us, telling us to stay away from this, the other one was quite understanding of the situation. So we leave from there. We definitely don't get any charges, and they try to say that it was an accident. But then the next day they come to our house. The other officer insisted that we should know about this, and they say that there was drug found in her systems. So it's quite likely that she was on drugs, and she was also wearing resistive cloths, and when she got down in the swimming pool, she just couldn't save herself from that condition. But we don't buy this for the first time, because, for instance, they tell us that she injected her right hand with the drug injection, but she was right-handed. So why she didn't do it on the left hand? But then there was also a cut made by her by the blade that was on the left hand. So why she didn't do it on the right hand then? So there was a lot of little details suggesting that there could have been a foul play. But the officers, specifically that one officer who did investigate our sister's death, he was really not interested in listening to any of this. So then we just move on from there, that we know the officers weren't going to look for the murderer in this case also. And then that's how the chapter 1 ends. So one thing I would say is that if instead of starting from the investigation, they just started from very beginning. That would, like, who dies. I mean, I know they sort of spoiled it in the trailers. We do know, even before we started playing it, we knew who was gonna be killed. So I think if somehow they managed to do this, like, what I mean, like keeping this as a suspicion, like who was going to be killed, because that was the main part of book one. I think that would have been a little bit more intense. And then again, the way chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 are, all the love interests are suspect. So that's really well done. But again, they revealed the love interest now, didn't they? So everybody would be like, oh, they're the love interest, they can't do this. But if they didn't reveal the love interest, if we didn't know who was going to be the love interest, the romance option, if we didn't have, then I think it would have been even more mind-boggling. Just imagine, because I'm just gonna tell you what happens from next chapter. Because after this, we think like Tyler could be the killer. Then we think, no, it's Donovan, her twin brother, and then we think, it's Stevie's son. So just think about this: that you don't know who the love interests are, and you see all this, evidence is pointing toward them. Then it's definitely, you're gonna think like, oh, they're gonna be the killer. No, they're gonna be the killer. But when they're saying that they're the love interest, a lot of people are gonna know that way early on in this book, they're pointing this toward the love interest, definitely not murderers. So that's something they could have done a little differently in this mystery book, perhaps, without revealing the love interest and stuff. I think would have been one a heck of a book. And then in book chapter 2, we try to investigate more. We start off with some old memories that our sister Perdita was going to see her boyfriend, and we have a conversation with her. And needless to say, that was the last night we ever saw her, because after that she went missing. And she was also sort of a detective. The police officers, they never searched for her, and as we will see later, that after 1 year, when we didn't find her body, we sort of assumed that she was dead. So there was a funeral arrangement, and we didn't go to the funeral. So we'll also learn about this through some bonus scenes and diamond scenes in later in chapter 2. So we are really frightened by this. And even in one chapter at the start, we'll see a haunting memory that we're at home and we're having this nightmare that our sister is going away, and then we're not stopping our sister. Then Gabby's ghost form is there, and Gabby is basically haunting us, saying like we didn't save Perdita, our sister, just like we didn't stop and save Gabby. And then we see ourselves drowning in the swimming pool and water coming out of our mouth, and we wake up from the nightmare. And then we go about the business. We go to our school. Everything was different, and we just saw the body, so no one was expecting us to be at school, and it was a different place, but we were there to investigate the murder, the Chrisley murder. So you will try to sneak into the swimming pool, but it won't be as easy. So you'll have to play some tricks. You'll have to distract the security guard, and then you'll have to sneak in, and you'll find a something like a like thing they use as a bow tie or something. I exactly forgot what it was, but it was a male's bow tie, and then we try to think who it belonged to, and then it came to us, it was Tyler. So there was blood on it, and we're kind of sure that it was Gaby's blood. Then we go to the locker rooms. So Gaby was a swimmer dying like this with all those red flags, that injection in wrong hand, and all this thing that she's doing drugs when she's a goody two shoes. She's never done anything bad. So then we go to the locker room, and we see two guys coming in, and they're the same guy who tried to sabotage Tyler, and they were trying to open Tyler's locker to put something in there that puts the blame of Gabby's death on Tyler. So Tyler will be basically expelled from the sports team and from the school as well. So they think that Tyler is the one who made her a drug addict. Otherwise, she was amazing, and Tyler is a low life. So they have some really wrong conception about Tyler, we see. But then they go away because they can't open the code. But then we remember the anniversary thingy we found out in a note. So that was because of good digging in the swimming pool. And then when we open the locker, we find some interesting stuff of photos and all the other, like what subject Tyler is weak in, and what subjects are strong Tyler is strong in and stuff like that. And then we also can, after doing the investigation, leave a note saying Tyler to watch her back, because anyone can open his locker and put some evidence in there that could get him in trouble. So far I think Tyler is a suspect, but then we have to go to the funeral. So we go to the funeral. It wasn't easy for us. And when our chemistry teacher, Mr. Lewis, I think, he says that, haven't you been to the, we say that this place is really big. So he says like unknowingly that, haven't you been here before? And that definitely wakes some memory in us, because we were here long time. We weren't here, so we remember about the funeral, and even later when we will try to comfort one of Gabby's close friends, we will recall in this diamond scene. We can what happened at the funeral of Perdita. So Perdita's body wasn't found, but our mom and everyone thought that she was dead. She never came back. The police gave up definitely, and we weren't willing to go. And then we see that what a mother and son bond, or child bond, we were having at that time after our sister's death, and how we dealt with that situation. And I can use some of those things to comfort Gabby's friends. And throughout the funeral, we talked with different people, we gathered some clues, but mainly we see that Tyler wasn't there. So also we learned from one of Gabby's friends that Tyler and Gabby were fighting. So we go out to the parking lot, we open Tyler's car, we go inside, and we see his phone, and the last message was he was so dead. So we think that Tyler is the killer. And then suddenly Tyler comes in, locks the door, and gets in the car with us. So we were in the back seat, and Tyler was driving the car. And what was gonna happen to us? Were we gonna get grisly murdered? So that was something. So the next third chapter, we see that we're in the car. We can wait for an opportunity to get out of the car, but I personally chose not to. So the car came to a stop, and then we knocked Tyler out, and then we took off running into the woods. Tyler was running behind us, saying we'll get ourselves killed. And needless to say, we were about to fall off the cliff, and Tyler saves us. And then we have the conversation. At first, we were untrustful of Tyler, thought he was going to kill us, but then he says he's not going to. And then we get the whole detail that Tyler wasn't actually the real boyfriend of Gabby, and they're just pretending. And in a diamond scene, I think, or maybe not a diamond scene, just we can see Tyler's phone, and we actually see all the messages Gabby and Tyler exchanged, and we get the full truth that what was happening. So the fight, that was basically Tyler thought Gabby was dating us. The fight wasn't about this, but it was about Tyler demanded from Gabby to know that what Gabby was up to. Like, was Gabby getting herself into some trouble or anything? So we saw that Gabby was also a good friend of Tyler. So we talked about this, whether Tyler did the right thing doing this or not. And also we can subtly, like, it happens after a long time in choices now, the last 3 years, this kind of subtle romantic options we never had almost. Like, so we have very, like, we can ask like, so what is your type and stuff like that. So very subtle romance options we have here. And then we just go on from here, asking him who does he think he suspects. And also Tyler says, like, Tyler thought so far he was the lone who thought there was a foul play in this murder, but now we can work as a team. So we are working as a team. Tyler and our main character so far a team. And before that, we met Stevie's son, who is our old best friend, but now we run in different circles. And he looked worried about our main character for a sec. And we saw some chemistry between Stevie's son and our main character. But then we don't see much about Stevie. But now we'll have to go dig in more. So we go to Gabby's house to talk with Donovan and anyone else who can know about Gabby and the whole drug thing. So we see broken down mother of Gabby, and then we talk with Navarro, Donovan, a second love interest, and things get heated up. Donovan and Tyler, they can stand each other, so they literally start fighting. We take the opportunity, we dig in a little bit more, we find a threat note again, and on the we just basically see the handwriting. We even get a notebook and see the handwriting of Gabby, which was so awesome and oriented. But this handwriting, we know it's the handwriting of Stevie Sun. What was Stevie Sun doing threatening Gabby? That is a real interesting question. But then the fighting causes problem. Gabby's father comes in, and Gabby's father says that this all fighting is causing trouble for um, Donovan and Gabby's mother. So we apologize, and then we would have to leave. So we don't get much. Tyler and Donovan, they were both hot-headed, and they're just going off. So we have to leave, but then they say like there's nothing for dinner, the same old thing. They'll just have to heat up. So we can stay and help them with dinner, and also we'll be not just getting some information about Gabby's death, but we'll also be helping Gabby's family in a way. Gabby's brother Donovan, and also Gabby's father and mother. So Tyler will go away, and Tyler says he'll come back when the dinner will be done, and then we get to work. At first, Donovan was a little cold, but then we get a lot of information out of him about Gabby and what happened, how distant they were, Gabby and Donovan. And also, Donovan says something like Tyler isn't who he says he is, and he's hiding a lot of secrets. So we learned a lot about Tyler, but Donovan seems to distrust Tyler, and there are some secrets, but also that Gabby didn't do drugs and a lot of stuff we know. And then he prepared dinner for them. We eat, and then we come back home with Tyler. So we leave Gabby's place. Well, both the parents and Donovan, they're in a better mood after we left and cooked dinner for them. And then on the way we talk about what we learned there, but one thing was also in our mind, that what Donovan had said about Tyler not like being hideous person, and he's hiding more secrets. He's not who he lets on. But then we have a bigger mission to take on. Tyler and our main character are a team now, and the next clue is Stevie's son. So Stevie's son clearly threatened Gabby for something, and we'll have to know what it is. And we go to Stevie's son's house, and we knock on the garage, saying this is where Stevie's son could be. So Stevie's son, our love interest, is the next lead. What would happen? Will she be guilty, or will we get to a new lead from Stevie's son? So, like I said, if they hadn't revealed who the love interests were, and they hadn't given us those love options with love interest specifically, then I think at first thought Tyler is the one who is the killer. Surely, because you're so dead now. That was from a different angle the message was typed, because Gabby was not coming to take the homecoming queen crown. So that's why Tyler messaged that. And now Stevie's son, we found a threat note of Stevie's son to Gabby in Gabby's backpack. So now we think Stevie's son could be the killer, but deep down we all know it can't be true, because she is the only female love interest. Definitely not a killer. And Navarro, so Gabby's twin brother, he can't be the killer either. So we will see who it is really, but we don't have any lead yet. Let me know. I know one of you guys said that Mr. Lewis, I think, the chemistry teacher, I forgot his name. He could be the one, the one who is Tyler's reused sprite. Tyler from Laws of Attraction, his reused sprite is that teacher. But also, I think the police officers, they're shady. It's like the police officers of Birchport. Remember Waltz from Veil of Secrets? So that bald officer gives me Waltz vibes. But there's another officer with him who looks really calm, but oddly calm and well behaved. Like maybe he's like Duffy. He's hiding something. Who knows? That officer who is with the officer who hates us could also be hiding a lot of secrets. We never know with these kind of mystery box by choices. So let me know your theories and thoughts and opinions in the comments below. I'll see you with the 4th chapter review of this book tomorrow. Till then, peace out.